This is Alan Shayne, and you're listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Verbal Shenanigans podcast. Coming off a special episode with our friend John Antoine. Don't worry, John Antoine is not joining us again. We'll probably be a little while till we talk to John.
Oh, now everybody just shut off their radio, Scott. Good job. I've been toying with it for an hour.
But yeah, coming off an episode that we released a couple days early, and we still got complaints, Mike, that it didn't count as the next week's episode because it was supposed to be a double episode for that week.
You can't win with certain people, so what you do is just mock their country about World Cup unqualifying, and they leave you alone, I notice.
Yeah, I got a couple lock bets. I think I'm going to put a nice little money line bet on Italy to win the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
And, maybe I'm going to throw a few bucks on the Sonics to win the World Championship in 3 years.
This is, I'm sure DraftKings is just oozing to take those bets right there.
Oh, yes. Poor Italy. Sorry, Dom. That's 3 in a row. We're here going on more World Cups missed than you've actually seen Italy play in. So sucks. But we can't talk much because the U.S. is going to probably may not win a game.
But we'll chant USA. And then when we start trailing, we go USA again.
It's pretty clever.
All right, so hear me out. When we're winning, we'll chant USA. When we're losing, we'll really chant USA. And if we're tied, we'll look at each other like it's soccer. Is this the end?
Yeah. But yeah, the real quick, the Seattle Supersonics, a very high chance we will see them again. Those of you who are like, who cares? I do. I am a random Sonics fan here in New Jersey, and if you look at the show's logo, you should notice that it's a parody of the Supersonics logo. And Mike, I might get a basketball team again.
So, out of curiosity, Seattle gets an expansion team, and they name it like the Cubbies, the Seattle Cubbies.
Yep.
You going to games?
Nope. It is all Supersonics, and that's it. If they do some stupid thing and call them like the Seattle Huskies or something like that, I'm out.
Okay. Gone. They're just called Seattle, and there's just a big emblem of Sean Kemp's face on their jersey.
I mean, I can get behind that. It's still it's still honoring the greats.
You're going to throw it all in the trash. Yeah. But now we got compromises coming here.
But anyway, Mike, we are back in the groove of things. And Mike, I'm a little taken aback because today I got some fingers in my butt.
As opposed to when?
Not my own fingers.
Okay, I got a few. I'm going to type out a couple names. You let me know when to hit
it. Yeah. No, I decided that after all these years, now, do you go to the doctor frequently?
It's one of those, like, when they give me the appointment and they remind me, I show up and do everything. But when my regular doctor, I had a date and they're like, oh, the doctor's going to be on vacation. We just need you to reschedule. Then it's like a year later. Oh yeah, I need more of my blood pressure pills. They're like, well, you're supposed to be back here 6 months ago. I'm like, well, you were supposed to force me in, and clearly you have no idea how little I care about this situation.
So you're pretty much like Dr. Light, like you'll go occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I have blood pressure pills, so by rule, when they run out, they won't give me more unless I show up. But then again, there have been times where I call them up and they're like, well, you got to get blood work. I'm like, well, I'm off of blood pressure pills for 4 days now, so your move. And then they get like a half a bottle. I'm like, yes, I have time.
I like that you play chess with your doctors.
Yeah. He thinks he's so smart. We'll see who cares who lives and dies. It ain't me, bub.
You said I would survive this long. I'm going way before that, Doc. What do you know?
Well, you really got to come in. I'm like, I don't know. I have these razor blades to swallow. Maybe you keep your appointment, huh?
But yeah, my wife's been on me about it for a while. I am not a doctor guy. I've told stories about the dentist. I'm just not a doctor guy. I try to take care of myself. I do exercise a lot. I eat okay unless I'm having like a fat boy sesh, or a sausage, egg, and cheese withdrawal week where I go back. But a relapse, sausage, egg, and SEC relapse. Yes.
I will say I was on YouTube and I forget the guy's name, but he had a video on ranking all the biscuit, sausage, egg, and cheese sandwiches, and I'm like, Scott, you lost your calling right there.
Why'd I choose coffee cups? But so, and my wife's been on me like, you really need to go, see a general practitioner. I'm like, yeah. So I've been putting this off forever, and I said when I turned 40, I was gonna make a better effort to be, not think I'm invincible anymore. And, it still took 2 years, but I went today and I had thought, I knew that I pretty much knew what to expect, physical blood pressure, stuff like that. I know like my blood pressure has always been on the higher side, so have to something out to look at and whatnot. But I knew I was going to get the old balls and cough thing, which I was like, all right, that's fine. But I thought I had a little while. I thought I had a couple more years until I was going to have to get the old prostate exam. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, now's the time. Like, you just turn around and drop your cheeks and drop your drawers. I'm like, okay. Now, I had this done once.
Did he make you twerk? He made you drop your cheeks? Damn.
And he made me look into his eyes during it. It was really weird.
It was very fancy, and there was like disco lights going on.
Yeah. I had to look back at him and stare directly in his eyes as he inserted
and he
his
said more
digits
pouty
in it.
face.
But I guess the thing is now, like, I don't know. I guess if they check you at 45, why wouldn't they check you at 42 now? I'm assuming they're just doing things a lot earlier. I'm not sure, but it was I have had one done before when I had food poisoning so bad. They were like, oh, we got to go check up the butt. And that was like in my 20s. So it's been a while since anything has entered that area.
Well, if you have food poisoning, wouldn't there be nothing left up there? I thought that was the whole point of food poisoning. Like, the system's empty.
I don't know. I guess he didn't know if it was food poisoning or something in the intestines or whatnot.
Like, if you got food poisoning, like, what's back there is the end of the food chain. It's been done. The stomach said, I'm done with this. Get out of me.
I see where you're going with this. You're trying to put me in a position where a doctor raped me, and that is not true.
No, a janitor molested you. I don't want to confuse the audience. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Scott wrote a beautiful story about a big, muscular janitor, and we all know internally that's because the gentleman, did things with Scott. We don't want to go too far. We don't want him to go off the chain here on tonight's podcast, but so don't get things confused. He was not touched by a doctor sexually. It was janitors.
Now, I I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna start leaning into it. But
well, I've learned that doves and ravens fly the same way, Scott. That's what you have to remember.
Doves and ravens fly the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you interrupted my story to tell me that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I don't want to go further into that part, but yeah,
it's a very strange thing to just drop on us in the middle of a recording. But so, obviously, I'm nervous now. Have you had the old prostate checked?
Well, I've had when I was early 20s, they thought I had colon cancer.
Right.
So like I had the whole ordeal. I had the camera going up there to check things out and cut things out. I think I brought about.
Did you keep it up there?
No,
I'll just leave it.
Yeah, just every once in a while, take a picture and let me know if you see something that I gotta come back for. But don't change my appointment, or else I ain't showing up.
Give me half a bottle of pills.
But the funny thing was, like, I had a situation. There was like blood coming out, not trying to get too disgusting. So my dad took me to the doctor, and to check me out, and I was on the table, and the doctor's trying to tell me how to be on the table to check things out, and he kept on telling me to roll, so I kept rolling, and I wasn't understanding him, and he got pissed off at me. He's like, "You're making this way more difficult than it should be." I'm like, "I know, you're just sticking fingers up my butt. I don't know why I need to get in this certain position."
You were just rolling like one of those hot dogs.
Pretty much. Like, he's like, "We'll be like this," and I keep going. He's like, "No," and then I would go back, and he's like, "No," then I go forward, and it was just so weird. And then, like, he took one finger, one up there. He's like, "Yup, blood." I'm like, "I could have told you that." But the topper of it all, like, it's like the doctor just like, "Yeah, I guess monitor it." And my dad got mad at him, and we went to the emergency room, and that's when they went through the whole procedure and all that. But I found out said doctor apparently hated my dad because my dad dated his girlfriend a long time ago. Yes.
You had a rival doctor getting ready to shove his fingers in your butt?
Yeah. So I had a great family doctor, his Dr. Parag. He was a great man, loved him, took care of my stitches when I busted up my knee. You remember that story from the 94 Dream Team. But,
but please don't deflect. I have so many questions.
But so he passes away, and this guy takes over his practice. And like, this is like my first visit with him. And the whole ordeal, and like he's being bitchy with me and stuff like that. And my dad's just like, "Yeah, I never liked the guy. He still thinks I stole his woman from him."
Now, did he like, was your dad in the room with you at this time, or did he just drop you off?
He was in the waiting room. He wasn't in. He basically came in after the procedure, and then
I picture him like making eye contact with your dad, and you bent over him getting ready to give you the prostate.
He gives him the angry eyes, and then he just turns to me, and he turns back and smiles at my dad as he closes the door.
This is gonna hurt.
Your son has no capability of getting in the right position for starters.
Oh, the roller dog over there won't stand still.
Turns like a hot dog, won't let me in the buns.
Now, needless to say, it is an uncomfortable experience. It is like
Not
3
much.
seconds, and it just sucks. Like, you might have enjoyed yours. I did not enjoy mine.
No, it was not pleasant. I got to go for another examination mid-May, and all that that old stuff where you got to prep and drink the stuff where like every liquid in your body is coming out in one night. It is not a fun procedure, my friend.
He'll be doing that live on the podcast, guys.
Yeah. Interviewing Zap that night, I believe.
What was I going to say to you? Yeah, it is not a fun, pleasurable experience. But the thing I'm thinking of in my head during this, so this is the first time I ever met this doctor, and he had like an intern with him, which I thought was kind of weird, just like some kid in med school. And he's 20, probably 23, something. He's like, this is like Chuck or whatever, and he's my intern, and like here I am already nervous about the appointment. This is just how I become as I get older. Two, I'm just meeting this doctor for the first time, and I'm like, I feel like he's peddling his little boy assistant on me, and the kid's just like smiling, and like I'm already nervous, and then he's like, oh, here's the part where you got to check the balls, and then you got to pull your pants down. I'm like, it's weird enough with one of you in here. Never mind the med student just studying my awkwardness.
Yeah. I miss the old days where the doctor would just video it and just sending out to everybody.
Yeah,
those were the classy days.
Yeah, just not very enjoyable. But I guess it is time to be a little bit more of a man about things and try to maybe see a doctor once a year or something like that. We'll see.
Well, if you can't be kind, at least be vague.
You can't be kind, at least be vague. Did you just say in reference to my doctor story?
Yeah, I mean, just regular inspiration and all. I don't want to go into it, but yeah.
Anyway, okay. Strange mic drop again, but you do you do the same thing I do? Like the week before an appointment or 2 weeks, you start to be living like an Olympic athlete. You're like, oh, I'm gonna watch my diet this week. I'm not having any beer. I'm gonna really increase my uptake of water, as if that's going to change any of my results with the doctor.
I mean, a little bit. Like there are times where it's like, you want to get pizza? I'm like, that doctor's coming around. Maybe a piece of grilled chicken or some lentil. I don't know, but yeah. There's definitely the uptake of water stuff, and you've been drinking beers for how long, and when's your last appointment? Oh yeah, the 8 glasses of water you drank yesterday are really going to wash away 30 years of crushing yourself. Yeah, and honestly, that was Sprite you picked up. That wasn't water. That just because it's clear, it doesn't count.
It's like I do the same thing. I have this like guilt when I go get an oil change and my oil is like way overdue. I peel the sticker off sometimes before I get there because I don't feeling like you're way over and scold me. I think it's some kind of like Irish Catholic guilt, like growing. I don't know. Everything was like always like, yes, you got to obey your teacher. Like getting in trouble was always a very bad option.
So like you're just in the waiting room figuring like the mechanic is calling like all the other mechanics over because also he'll have an apprentice, just like the doctor. And it'd be like, hey, look at Captain Oil Drops here and all. That's all his car's got. He's got oil drops. That's what we call him.
Captain Oil Drops.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. I have one more quick story before we get to our guest. How do we segue from this nonsense to our guest in a few minutes?
I would say look up at the stars and not down at your feet.
Look up at the stars. What does that have to do with me? Like
I don't want to get into it.
You all right over there?
I mean, if you got to dance like there's nobody watching, do it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that knowledge you're dropping on me, but
you're welcome, but I don't want to get into it.
Okay, strange podcast. You're dropping these things but don't want to get it. Okay. Mike, I told you a couple weeks ago, as a side job, I've been kind of helping my buddy with CPR classes and lifeguarding classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good side gig, honestly. And there's worse ways to make $1, and it's kind of rewarding. So I've been helping him out, and I had a gig with him the other day, and it was like a different class that I hadn't been with. So there was like a video component to the instruction.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you've ever been CPR trained or anything like that, or I'm sure you've sat through stupid work training videos where acting is like horrendous, and that they've never really gotten past this where they've ever produced like a high quality training video. It's always really, really like bad acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a video, and it's around the pool because it's lifeguards, and it's 2 women, like middle-aged women, walking. And the one woman's like, "Oh, I don't feel so good," and she's like, "Oh, Jenny, are you okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay," and they take a couple more steps, and it's like, "Oh," and she falls like out of frame, like hits the ground, but you don't see her hit the ground. And the woman who she's with reacts like, oh my god, help, calls the lifeguard. Then the next shot is a wide shot where you see everybody in frame, but now Jenny, or whatever we want to call her, the woman who fell to the ground, is now on the ground. She has her clothes on, but she is a mannequin. So they just cut to an obvious mannequin on the ground, but put her clothes on her. Okay. So then, of course, the acting's really bad, and it's like, lifeguard, come. And he's like, whistle, I'm coming, and like, you call 911, right? All that. So then they start CPR, and they have to cut the shirt off the mannequin because it's part of like doing the AED. But when they cut the shirt, I noticed a strange realization on this mannequin, that this mannequin had enormous breasts for a mannequin. Okay. Like absurdly large bosoms. Okay. So my thought, first off, I'm, most of the class is high school kids or like young college kids, and I see them giggling a little bit. And I'm, deep down inside, I'm not much more mature than a 22-year-old kid.
Why should you be?
And I'm laughing in my head because they're doing CPR, and these fake bosoms on a mannequin are just like flopping around, and no one then in my head starts to think about like the mannequin maker. Like, did they do this on purpose? Was it a joke? Did someone have to put in like what the victim was going to look like and match the boob size to the mannequin? It was just like all the mannequins I've ever worked on for CPR and stuff they're just like a body that with like there's no arms, no detail. It's just like to simulate CPR. I don't know, man. It was strange.
Do you feel the director was like filming the scene and he was just something like, something ain't right here. Something ain't right. I mean, he's doing all the steps correctly, but I'm not feeling this flat-chested woman dying. I feel, but the person in my dreams that needs to be saved has at least a couple C cups on her.
Yeah, they scrapped that scene and had to do pickup shots afterwards.
They had to call back all the actors. And all. It's like, I'm doing Hamlet right now. You get back and do the CPR scene. You're under contract.
But like my question is like, it's also like, why are boobs even needed on a mannequin? They're like these genderless things just to practice. Why are they adding gargantuan titties to this mannequin?
So you're always prepared. It's that simple. You never know when you have to save a life. Like once if somebody screams, "Oh my God, I think this man's dying," and you show up and he has a hair lip. Like you got to be prepared to stare at said hair lip and still say, "I'm going to give you mouth to mouth." You got to understand these things.
So you were saying all these lifeguards and people should be prepared for a dead giant-chested woman.
Every situation has to be accounted for.
Like you don't want your CPR instructors and stuff to be distracted by these things in the field.
No, Scott, we have talked on the show about how some of our female guests have come to be Instagram models, if you will, and kind of show off their voluptuous situations on their chest. Like if one of our guests
situations, great name
one
for
of our
band,
guests
by the way,
needs CPR, you are on a beach and somebody's like, this girl is dying, and you show up and it's Christina Love. You got to be professional and prepare for that. And the only way to do that is with a proper mannequin.
Are those big boobied mannequins for sale now online?
I feel we need like rotors in these mannequins so we can decrease the boob size, so we can increase it. So in every scenario, you are prepared for whatever and all, because we don't know what your type is. I feel some of these mannequins should have a sweet cheeks on the back.
how would rotors make their boobs bigger or smaller?
Well, I mean, with compressed air and
Compressed
inside
air
the mannequin
and rotors.
Yes, this is a very scientific one. I'm telling you. You've never built a mannequin that can go up and down in chest size, so don't be telling me I don't know what I'm talking about here.
So when you got to go get your brakes and rotors done, you're thinking like, oh man, I could use these for something else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, those used ones, don't you throw them away. I got something for that. I'm taking a CPR class afterwards.
They call me Mikey Rotors. I don't know, man. We're back, that's for sure. How do we get to our guest, Mike? This is this is a really cool opportunity. Now, years ago, we interviewed Bobby Rush, who was a kind of like a jazz
blues
musician is what Grammy winner. And I believe when we interviewed him, Mike, he was like 89,
something like
was
that.
He? I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so he was an awesome guest, and he was the oldest person we've ever interviewed. And we've had a couple older gentlemen on the show, but today we are interviewing a 100-year-old man. Okay, 100 years old. Now, that's not the reason we're having him on the show, but that is just truly a testament to how amazing this guy is in the story he has. But 100 years old, we're interviewing a man by the name of Alan Shayne. Now, Alan Shayne was the head of Warner Brothers for 10 years. Was in movies and Broadway and a casting director. He brought shows like Wonder Woman and Mike's beloved Dukes of Hazzard onto the air.
Many rotors were in that show.
Yeah. So many rotors. And Alan just has an amazing story from his personal life to the book he's writing. So without further ado, here is Alan Shayne. Alan, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time, man. What an honor to talk to you.
No, I'm delighted to talk to you.
That is my co-host there, Mike, and thank you for giving us a few minutes here. Alan, it's almost impossible to prep for an interview for you because you've done everything for so long. It's hard to just pinpoint one or two things to talk about here. That's a compliment. But I guess my first question to you is, do you remember the first thing you've seen? Pretty much the whole evolution of television here. Do you remember the first thing that's inspired you? And do you remember something recent that is also still inspiring to you that you've seen in TV?
Well, I saw something last night that I thought was wonderful, which was about Thoreau on public broadcasting. That was terrific. And the first thing that I know about television, I guess, is the first time I was on television. And that was on a Buck Rogers. God, what year could it have been? It was just, nobody had television sets.
Yep.
I remember I just didn't know what I was doing. And then I remember doing my first real television show when, again, nobody had sets. But I was doing a 2-character show with John Carradine, who was a movie actor who you wouldn't know, but if you saw his face in an old movie, you would. Had a very long, mean face. And we were 2 prisoners on Devil's Island. I was a young guy and he was an old guy. And we had spent years trying to dig our way out of the prison we were in. And we did a television show in which I, as a young guy, finally was going to get out, and he was too old to get through the hole we dug. And that was going to be great. And it was live, because everything was live in those days.
Yeah.
And I just remember that we did the dress rehearsal. It was great. And they plastered up the hole we dug. And then suddenly it was time to go on the air. We went on the air, and I started with my knife to hit through the plaster, but they had plastered it up again and I couldn't get through. So suddenly I couldn't get through and I was banging on it And this old guy, supposedly helped me banging. We were both banging. And suddenly in through the hole came one of the guys working on the floor to help us with a knife and ruined the whole thing. The whole thing was a disaster. So that's my first real episode in television.
That's crazy.
About, oh God, I don't know. People didn't have sets at that time,
Yeah.
Mm.
so nobody knew anyway. Anyway, that's not really what you mean, is it?
No, that works for me.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
I mean, as you were a Broadway person doing this stuff, like what were like the first inklings for actors at that time? Was it, oh, this is the future? Is it, oh, this is kind of cute and we get extra stuff, but as the stage is where to be? What were people's thoughts on television?
Well, I think the interesting thing about it was that it was all in New York, as you know, not in Hollywood, and they paid no attention to it. And then as it began to get important, and I was doing leads on television, movie people started to do it. And gradually we were all dumped, and they could get a movie person to play, Alan Shayne, who wanted him. So that in a way, ruined our early careers, many of us.
Mm.
Broadway, no one took it seriously, really, except that it began to show really interesting plays, good playwrights. I mean, early television had marvelous shows, wonderful shows. I mean, one of my early ones was Goldsworthy's Justice. Another one was The Marble Fawn. I mean, we did wonderful things because they were in public domain, and they didn't cost much. But gradually, as it became to be serious and people bought sets, I remember that the first set that I bought was to show my friends Murder Against Crime or something. It was a Ralph Bellamy series that none of us could afford, but I bought a set finally with the money that I made, and we all sat on the floor and watched it. But people didn't have sets then. It's not, again, am I answering your questions or not? Tell me.
Yeah, perfectly.
Now, I read somewhere that you you worked with Marlon Brando, and that he just kind of blew you away with his talent, and that kind of led you behind the camera too into the production side. Is that a true story?
The whole story about Marlon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, every bit of it's true. I didn't like him at all, but he was really very difficult.
Yeah.
But when he acted, which was rare in class, if the teacher Stella Adler would say to him, "Peel an apple," for example, and he'd sit in a chair and he'd start to peel an apple, and you would literally see the apple. I mean, the apple wasn't there, but he was so brilliant. You saw the apple, you saw the peeling fall to the floor. It was amazing. And then she would say to him, "Marlon, it's raining." And almost without a sign, it was raining. I mean, he just was brilliantly talented, an impossible person. And so all the things in the book about him are true. He just was difficult and unpleasant, but very talented.
Now, a lot of...
Pardon?
I was going to say, like, as you got into, like, casting, I know a lot of times these days where we got shows where they just try to grab any big name with no talent, just like grab people in. I'm kind of curious, back in those days, was it any different? As you start to grab for like a movie or television show, was there an urge to just grab a popular name, even though they might not be popular for the part? Or was it still like, nope, we got to get best actor, best case, this cast?
In the kind of golden age of television, which was Studio One and, at that age, that's before the movie people came in, it was done really like Broadway. I mean, there were really good casting directors at that time. They brought people in who were right for the role. The directors were very choosy and very good. And some of those directors, of course, went to Hollywood. Uh, and so we worked with very good directors in the beginning. But then when the movie people came in, yes, I mean, I did a television with Jackie Cooper, for example. That was a Hollywood name, and he was brought in. He was very good, but the New York people, how can I say? The New York actors were very serious,
Mm.
and the movie actors were serious too, but in a different way. And it wasn't about names really. There were no names in early television. Uh, there were a couple that were kind of stars on television, like Maria Riva, who was Marlene Dietrich's daughter, but nobody really knew the names
Mm.
as they did movie people. And then when it all went to Hollywood, the same thing happened. You had wonderful directors. They were very choosy about the parts and who they got. And people always tried to do the best they could. Um, I don't know if that answers you at all.
Yep.
But
So when you transition to now casting and producing and directing and all that, how hard of a transition was that for you? As far as you kind of grew up always being on stage and in front of people. Now you're the production side. Was that because of interest, or was that where the work was?
if you have a chance to read the book, I had been quite successful and was on Broadway and had a hit show.
Yep.
And then it began to get less and less, and my leads in television started going to movie people, which I understood. And so I had to work, and I started working as understudies. Uh, I worked as a stage manager. I did anything to stay in business, waiting for that big role to come my way, and it wasn't coming. And I finally understudied Ricardo Montalban to play opposite Lena Horne in a musical called Jamaica on Broadway. And I played many times singing and dancing, which I really wasn't brilliant at, but I was okay. And nothing really happened. People said I was good. And then I was sent for by the leading casting director in New York. And I thought this was my big opportunity. And he said, nicely but rudely to me, "You're a very good actor, but you're never going to make it as a star." And I was shocked by that. And I said, "Why are you saying that?" And he said, "Because I want you to be my assistant as a casting director."
Huh.
I had never been a casting director. I was an actor. I was very upset by that. And then I started to think about it, and I thought, maybe he's right. Maybe I really don't have that star quality because I played the lead opposite Lena. I looked good. I acted good, but I didn't have people standing outside in the doorway waiting for my autograph.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally thought, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I should do something else. And I was also in a relationship, and I wanted to help that relationship by not being in the theater every night. If you're in the theater every night, you can't have a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I then became a casting director, but I learned how to do it from him, from this man. I learned how to get my notes, how to go to see actors, and I had a great sense of what a good actor was, and that helped me, but I worked very hard at it. And then I started to go into other things, stage managing and all sorts of stuff, and producing.
And you definitely moved up. I'm kind of curious, like, as we see, like, as Bob Iger left Disney, there's years in advance of trying to figure out who replaces him. They have panels and councils and items like that. You were the president of Warner Brothers Television. I'm kind of curious, was that like an intense thing? Was it just as simple as we got a role? You want to take it? How did you get to the top there?
I was, I had produced, no, sorry. I had written a television show called, if I can remember it, The Snoop Sisters. And I'd gotten Helen Hayes and Mildred Natwick to star in it. They were big names at that time. Many of you wouldn't know who they were, but Helen Hayes was the leading woman on Broadway for many years. Anyway, it was sold to Universal, and they then paid me, I don't know, $5,000 because I thought of it and didn't have me do anything about it. But when they started to shoot it, both Mildred Natwick and Helen Hayes insisted I be brought out because they were unhappy. So I was brought out to Universal to help the show, which was canceled within weeks. Stuck suddenly in Hollywood, I thought, and I was approached by Warner's many times before to be the head casting director. They approached me again, and I thought, what the hell? I'm out here, I might as well try it. So I went under contract as casting director. Through a period of time, I then went into the movie business with them and left there to go to CBS, and then they had me come back to Warner's, and I didn't cast any longer, supposedly. And in the film meeting, they came to me one day and said, we're going out of the television business. It's costing us a fortune, and we're just not going to do it anymore. But we need somebody who knows enough about it to stop the business. I mean, you can't go over, we have to end it, go out of the business and save our money.
Wow.
And will you do it for a couple of months? So I said, sure. I didn't really want to do it, but I did it. And since I was there, I started to work and I started to develop shows. And within 6 months or 3 months or whatever, I'd had a new series on the air, a new mini-series and so forth. And it became successful. And they then came to me and said, let's find somebody to take over. So we went and we looked at everybody, we made lists and we approached people and nobody was available. And not to go into it because it's all in the book, I finally one day went to the head of the company, the head of Warner's, who was a friend. And I said, I've done all this. I've made it successful. I should be the president. And they were in shock. Everybody was in shock because I wasn't really typical to be that kind of person. But within a few weeks, everybody decided that was the thing to do. And they made me president. And I stayed 10 years. And I left.
Had longer than them couple months, they figured.
Well, they asked, no, they made me president. So I, gave me a Mercedes car and everything.
Nice.
Nice.
I wasn't about to leave that. Anyway, no, it was a wonderful time. Wonderful time. I loved it.
Now, you are responsible for bringing in so many different shows, from Wonder Woman to the Dukes of Hazzard. Now, my co-host here is the biggest Dukes of Hazzard fan growing up that you can think of. In fact, when he was moving away, I got him John Snyder on the podcast. A couple years later, we got Tom Wopat on the podcast. So this is like another full circle gift for my friend Mike here. What do you remember about the Dukes of Hazzard and what made it a special show? Like what was the key to that success and what did you see in it?
There was a guy working at Warner's who was crazy and very talented. And he had this friend who was kind of did country stuff. They came with this idea and we put up the money to do a pilot. And it was crazy, as you nobody wanted it, and nobody would buy it. And I was desperate because I thought, I mean, this is after we'd seen John Snyder and all that stuff, and the had been made. The kind of anyway, the networks wouldn't buy it. It was the one time that I really lied in my life. I went to the guy at CBS and I said, you know, you're crazy not to buy this because ABC is going to get it. They want it, but I think it should be at CBS because it should be really in that, you know, you have the perfect spot for it. It's anyway, but you have until 6 o'clock. You know, it's like what Trump is doing with the Iranians with total fraud in my life. I've never done that again. And he bought it. And then it went on the air. And then it was just, you know, incredible. It was really not, I wish I could say I thought of it. I didn't think of it. The only thing I did do was sell it. That was my job. And I was at least smart enough to know that it was something to sell. It was something we had to sell. Sometimes we did pilots and you couldn't sell it and you knew it, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody was going to buy it. I'm looking at you. I should look in the different place, huh? I don't know.
Yep.
Does that tell you about that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm glad what you did. And no, that was my childhood, that show. So I appreciate the effort you put into selling that show there.
From then on, I mean, the only thing I did do was when the two guys went on strike for more money and it was unreasonable what they were doing, I replaced them with two other guys. And we put the show on, which didn't do as well, but then finally they came back.
Yeah.
All worked out in the end.
It was my idea to put a blonde and a dark guy and have them be the cousins. And it was, you know, it was a stopgap.
Did you ever get a ride in the General Lee? Like, did they ever take you for a drive? Or I feel like they should owe you that at least.
Yeah.
No, because I was probably doing something with some guy who was a drunk in a series, and I don't know. You know, it was a job of putting out fires all the time.
Yeah.
Either the leading lady wouldn't do the script because she didn't like it, and we had to go on. You had to give the show to the network, so it was hard work and very interesting.
So let's talk about your book that's out and It Only Took 100 Years by Alan Shayne. It talks about your life. We also get into your livelihood. You were being a gay man where you had to keep it quiet back in the days of Hollywood. Out of curiosity, like as I listen to documentaries and stuff, they talk about like secret gay Hollywood and like people living their lives and keeping it quiet. I know you said you didn't have a lot of examples of gay people that you knew of in like Hollywood. Was there like rumors of like another side of Hollywood? Were you aware of people, or was it still like so quiet? It's like you didn't want to even like check it out.
No. I had a relationship that I'm still in that has lasted 67
Which
years.
is unbelievable, by the way. That is unbelievable.
And so we had a very good life. We didn't fool around. That was part of our life, that we decided to not do all of that. As a result, we didn't go to a lot of gay bars or go to a lot of parties. We had a good life. Going back to the Warners presidency, that's why they hesitated to make me president. Not because they were homophobic particularly, but because they thought that I couldn't deal with the old boys network. Because a lot of shows were sold at a hockey game or at a baseball game. All the guys would get together and sell a show. So they didn't know if I could sell without living that life. Because they knew that I lived a very ordinary life. I was aware of it. I mean, we lived across the street from Rock Hudson. We knew that he was gay. And I must say, we were never the best friends, but we were friends with him. And he was wonderful and very generous. And we know a lot of people knew who the gay people were, who was pretending not to be. We lived openly. We didn't pretend to be anything other than we were. And still, all the network people came to the parties that we gave, and I was able to do my work.
Hmm.
But did I know about secret ones? Yes, probably some. I think probably everybody did. Everybody knew about rock. Uh, and, today it's a different story. I don't know how long that'll last, but it's different today.
I was going to ask you, are you when you look at Hollywood today and even like the art industries and whatnot, are you amazed at how far it's come? Do you think we should have come way further earlier? Where do you think Hollywood is for a gay person? You think it is a good place?
I don't remember I left Hollywood a few years ago.
Sure.
So I don't know about the people today.
Yeah.
I think when I was very young, there was no way to talk to anybody about being gay. And as a result, I went through all the stages of trying not to be gay, of getting married, and all that stuff. But today, that's all not quite as necessary. I think the present life is getting worse. I mean, if you read in the paper yesterday, this business about banning the young people today can be forced to try and change their sex. It's just horrible. I mean, it's just my book really is about finding out who you are and then living by it and trying to make it work. That's all.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So I don't know what they're doing in Hollywood. I know there are a lot of people who are male guys who are married and women who are married.
Sure.
And they're still working. They're allowed to work. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's right to be what you are.
Of course.
Of course. Now, you've been together, as you said, for like 67 years, but I found it interesting that when you got married, it was just kind of put to you as suggested to get state benefits. I'm kind of curious, when you were kind of like arranging it, was there still like the romance and the happiness of, well, we're finally coming together, or was it almost like a business arrangement?
No. It wasn't just about that. It was not about taxes. It was about the fact that if I went to a hospital, my partner couldn't say anything to save me,
Yep.
let alone come and visit me, unless we were married. But one of the reasons we got married was this was the first year you could be married. We were married in Massachusetts. I think in 2004, I think it was. We got married because we believed in it. We believed that the people have a right to depend on each other, to have my money is his money. We can leave money to each other without a problem.
Sure. Yeah.
We should be like a couple. And so we believed in that, and we believed it for other people, and we decided we'd do the marriage. If we talked about it and believed in it, we had to do something about it. So we got married. Emotionally, it didn't make a great bit of difference because we were what we were emotionally. I mean, the marriage certificate doesn't mean anything except that it does protect you. And I must say, it was a very emotional, for me, thing to suddenly, even though we'd been together for many years, saying it out in the open air is a different story.
Yeah.
That being able to just shout it if you want to. We don't shout it. We don't live that way. No, I wouldn't live that way. I mean, we don't hold hands on the street or do that. That's not what we do. We come from a different life.
Yeah.
Remember that as a kid, I was born in 25. So, when I was 13, 15 years old, there was no book. There wasn't a book you could read that even told you what it was.
Wow. Yep.
Crazy.
It's a crazy perspective to even think of right now. Yeah.
I mean, it's all changed.
Sure.
When I was a young actor in New York, if you were known to be gay, you wouldn't get a job. So you had to be very careful and not let anybody know.
Wow.
And that was pretty awful.
Yeah.
And
So
anyway, enough of that.
no, that's great stuff. So Alan, like this book, okay, it took 100 years. Like, first off, I'm sure you've been asked the question a million times, like, what's the secret to your longevity? You've worked for so long, but I'm curious, how do you, like, what is the secret to being able to be able to write a book still like this and recall these memories and these stories and still be able to have the perseverance to put a book together? What was that process like for you?
Well, I wanted to write, and after I decided I didn't want to stay any longer in Hollywood, I began to write. And what could I write about? I had to write about something that I understood, something that I knew, or something I cared about. And I had a great friend named, this is great, but don't start me with names because I'm really 100 years old. Anyway, I was encouraged to write, and I wrote about things that I experienced. And I remember all of this. I just remember it. I remember everything. I remember my first day in New York. I remember, my first day of school. I remember everything. So I just started to write. And I wanted to kind of look at my life in a way and see what it was about. And I felt maybe it was good for young people. I know there are other books for young people, but we have a relationship. It's lasted monogamously, if I can use that word, for 67 years. And I thought, well, I'm not advising people to do that, but one of the reasons it's lasted is we've had faith in it. And we enjoyed the same things. We both were artists in our way, and we supported each other. And a lot of what I felt should be maybe read by somebody if they wanted to, not that they have to, because it hopefully is entertaining. I mean, it's not something that I don't proselytize in any way, but I thought maybe I should do that. And so that's what I've done.
That's amazing.
I tried to be as honest as possible. And there's a great review that just came out. It said that I don't name drop, that it's about my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant a lot to me because, I mean, there are enough anecdotes about stars. I can tell you a lot of them, but somebody can do that better.
Sure.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's truly amazing. Like, one, just your story, and two, you being able to still be so in it and able to articulate these feelings and making a story that literally anybody can read and kind of get something out of it. So, truly amazing. Like, Alan, I feel like we could talk to you for hours and just scrape the surface of the things you've done in your life. I guess my last question for you is, where can people go check out the book? Okay, where can they get it? And number two, is there anything that you know, as you're writing this book covering 100 years, 67 years, is there anything that you felt weird even putting in the book and you just kept private because that was those are just your memories. I'm curious, like the writing process of putting that all together.
If I left things out, perhaps they weren't very interesting. I didn't leave anything out
That's awesome.
that,
Mm.
I mean, there's an episode with Norman and the police that's really very unpleasant and very not amusing in any way, but it was an important thing to leave in because he suffered because of that, and I suffered because of it. There's a lot that's not very flattering. We weren't perfect people. I tried as much as I could to help young people when I was casting, because I was hurt so badly as a young actor. People were rude to me and they were mean. I had a rough time. Most young actors do. So when I was a casting person, I tried to help them as much as I could. So in the book, I didn't want to leave anything out that I never said, "Oh God, this is unpleasant. Better leave it out." If I left it out, it was maybe something boring, or it's too long for the book. You
Right.
know what I mean.
Didn't fit quite. Yeah.
That was one thing. You asked me a second.
Yeah, and the second one is, where can people check out the book and get it?
The book is on Amazon, and it's also in Barnes and Noble, and it's in different bookstores, I guess. It has not been promoted because I'm not a celebrity. So, there are people that won't have ever heard of it, but it's around. I mean, you can buy it.
Right.
That's the answer.
Awesome. Final question for me. So your partner first saw you when you filled in for Ricardo Montalban on stage. Is that correct?
Yes.
You ever sit back and say, man, if I wasn't filling in that day, my partner might have ended up with the dude from Fantasy Island or something?
I didn't have the partner when I went on first, and it was wild. I mean, I'd never sung on the stage. I'd never danced on the stage. I was in blackface. Jamaica was about black people on the island of Jamaica, and Ricardo was made dark. So I was made dark. I didn't look particularly dark, but I was okay. And it was a shock. And I had, I don't know, 6, 8 songs. I had to kiss Lena. We hadn't kissed. We were friends. But the first thing I did when I saw her was say, "I've got to kiss you. I can't play love scenes with you." Anyway, I got through that. And then Ricardo was sick quite a bit. So I got to play. And I got very good at it. I always, when they announced me, there was a terrible scream of, "Oh my gosh," people would yell, because Ricardo was a big movie star. And finally I got to the point where I thought, fuck them, they're going to get me, and whether they like it or not. And I pulled myself up and do the show, and I was okay. I was good. Not bad. But then Norman was brought to the show one day, and with somebody that I knew, an actor I'd been in a show with. They came backstage, and that's how I met Norman. He saw me play that part. And we have anyway, that's
amazing.
That's all that. But why did I get onto that? You asked me something.
I was just joking about if he didn't see you on stage, would he have been like attracted to Ricardo or something like that? No, I'm playing with you.
No, he wasn't attracted to me at all. Nothing happened for some time. And that's in the book, and that's kind of nice. It was a long relationship of getting to know each other and really believing that there was something between us, and not just being, another relationship that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that it became so secure, and it has been. It has been.
It's amazing, Alan. Alan, thank you so much for giving us your time and going over your amazing career and life. And good luck with the book. We wish you best of luck and hope to talk to you again down the line.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Alan Shayne, Mike, 100 years old. One, figuring out Zoom, which we've had a lot of guests out in their 30s and 40s can't figure out how to unmute and turn the camera on. Two, the ability to share that kind of story and still be so with it, and to throw vocabulary words that I know during the interview you were like, I got to look that one up later.
No, I never look them up. I gotta be honest with you. I just shake my head and go, yup, and just hope you don't quiz me afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh.
What an amazing story, man. I mean, you think about who he talked to when he's like, I was born in 1925. I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's seen every big war. He's seen literally.
He was in the war. He was in World War II.
Yeah. He's in a business that went from just on theater to the start of TVs, to TVs in people's houses, to streaming, and he's still able to like sit down and write a book. Truly a pretty cool interview, I think, for the catalog on this show.
Yeah. So I looked it up, by the way. We interviewed Bobby Rush when he was 86 years old. We did it in 2019. He is currently 92 right now. So, Bobby, keep eating healthy, keep touring, keep yourself right. In 2034, come and break the record, buddy.
Bobby, if you're listening, which I know you're not, you're welcome back on the show anytime. You don't have to be 100 to come back on.
Well, no, I think I'm going to insist on it, Scott. I'll be like, be gone, you feeble 96-year-old. I don't want to talk to you.
But yeah, Alan, and just his relationship, and like the idea to write basically this book about like that relationship and not really making it about like Hollywood that much. It's pretty cool.
Yep. If I learned anything, be not afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still.
Do you have like something on your mind? Like
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird. You keep saying these things, and
let's always remember honeycomb is big. Yeah. It's not small. No.
Did you take like Percocet before the show tonight? Like,
I don't want to get into it. Okay. I did. I'm just putting these things up, and I don't want to go further into the situation.
Okay. All right, Mike. I did have I don't know, I guess you can call this a game, or just kind of more of a what if kind of thing.
Okay.
You kind of hypothetical game here. Now, Mike, the caveat here is if you do these things, you will live to 100 years old. Okay.
All right.
A healthy 100. So, Alan, I would consider a healthy 100-year-old, able to deliver interviews, able to spread, great information and stories. 100. So, a healthy-minded, healthy 100-year-old. Okay. But there is a consequence that goes with choosing to live to 100. Okay. So I'm going to see if you would take these scenarios given to you. All right.
Intrigued.
All right. You live to 100 in peak physical condition, but from this moment on, you could only eat flavorless porridge.
No,
No,
I'm a foodie guy.
Okay.
I need good stuff. I need to cheat here and there. I can do like the whole grilled chicken thing, but there's the time where I'm just like, I need a milkshake.
Okay. So you'll take whatever death is ready for you.
Correct.
To be able to still eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. You can get that centenarian super title, Mike. Like you can be 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Healthy. But you must forego all modern personal technology for the rest of your life. No smartphone, no internet, no streaming services. But you will live to be healthy and 100 years old.
Yep. I don't know why my camera just stopped. There we go.
Hmm.
I think I could do that. I really think I could. I mean, I don't do a lot of streaming, as crazy as it sounds. A lot of times I just do like regular television for the most part.
Well,
And
that's gone. All that's
yeah,
gone. Yep.
which is fine. Which is fine. I mean, as a guy who's been in IT for like 20 some odd years, I can honestly say I can do IT work, but I'm not one of those that care about the latest technologies,
Mhm.
care about anything like that. I could totally see my mind clearing up and
Yeah.
enjoying my next 50 odd years on this planet.
That's what I think. Wouldn't it be amazing to just like never have a phone or anything again and just be like, I don't know, you hear about this in in books and whatnot, people like going off the grid and living a isolated life. Like you could pretty much live the next 50 years like just kind of being like off the grid and like actually finding something that means something, you know.
Yeah, I believe me, when I hear about those guys that live like on a remote island in a lighthouse for like 20 odd years, this part of me just like, I would do that in a millisecond.
All right. Third scenario. You're guaranteed perfect health at 100, but you can never meet a new person again. Your current friends and family, those are totally locked in, but you can never meet a new person again.
Considering future conversations on the show, I gotta say no.
Yeah, I
Can't do
agree.
it.
It's as much as I feel like I hit the jackpot with some of my family and friends, like I feel like life always has to change and you have to meet new people to kind of be inspired and, you know, also have something to compare people to, you know, like if you're stuck around the same people all the time, you're like, like when I meet a lot of new people, I don't like them because I like my friends. That's a good feeling. But if you don't know other people, I don't know, you get too lost.
That's a funny thing. Like, even if every new person you meet, you're like, I don't like you, it just makes you appreciate your current group even extra.
I think I agree with that one 100%. I might do the gruel thing, but I don't know. I like food a lot too.
Yeah.
All right.
You eat that gruel when you know somebody's having a sausage, egg, and cheese, you're going to give up life.
No. All right. To keep your body at 100%, you have to sacrifice all of your memories before the age of 40. Okay. So you're basically starting everything that happened at 40 and after you have, but you have to sacrifice the memories prior to that.
I don't think I can. I don't think my 40s have been like the absolute best decade of my life. And
what?
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I'm leaving it soon, so
what
40s,
do you mean? You've had this podcast for all of your 40s.
Well, that is good memory, but then like I'll miss out on episode 26 if I do that. So
yeah. I don't think I could take this one either. Like I think the memories of childhood are like almost what keep you like in some kind of direction, right? You I don't know, you project things that the way you grew up, you project the way your parents grew up, you take your memories with you, why you like things, why you don't, like what nostalgia is a huge thing. Like you don't have that if you delete all these things from your childhood.
Yeah, even the bad stuff, it guides you the rest of the way. So I don't think I can give up anything from the past and all.
And also like your first 40, I assume, are going to be so much better than those like last shitty 20 years at 80.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, no doubt.
So, okay, here we go. I thought this one was pretty good. Okay. You get the physical heart and lungs of an athlete at 100 years old. You're 100, okay? But Mike, you have to live. Only you are able to hear the sound of your organs working.
That is an interesting question. Now, as we have talked about different things we tried to bring on the show I recalled I tried to bring on the show the place that has the world record for the most quiet room
Yes.
in the world, where they kind of push us off like, oh, we don't do comedy or whatever. But they say when you're in that room, nobody can last longer than, I think they said, like a minute, because you can hear all your organs, you can hear your blood flowing, you can hear the internal cracks of your body, and it's just pure madness for anybody in there. So to try to do that for an extra 20 odd years, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, like picture like you're just sitting here talking to me now, but you hear like,
what's going on, liver? Why are you making that sound?
Or you hear.
Then I would have to make voices for all my organs that I hear from. Hi, everybody, I'm the liver.
All right, I liked this one. You're guaranteed to be disease-free and mobile at 100 years old, but you can never travel more than 50 miles from your house.
No, they can't. Not even that. It's probably the easiest one I got right here. If I'm going to go 2 hours for a coffee, you're not stopping me.
I was thinking that about you. Yep. No, what's funny? I think I would take this one. Now, really? Hear me out. Hear me out. Here's why. I love to travel myself. Okay, but I'm in a rare spot in my life where I love my community. Like, I love where I live. Okay, if I could picture where to live, I would probably live here. But like maybe somewhere more secluded, like if I can move this neighborhood there. But I like my house. I like where I'm at. And I'm in a part of my life where my kids, we're not going very far anywhere on a daily basis. So if I was able to shut this down, and there's a lot of cool breweries and farms and stuff to do within 50 miles of here, I might even be able to touch the beach at the Jersey Shore.
I think you would.
Yeah, 50 miles from my house, I think I can get to a ski slope if I ever wanted to do the winter thing. So I think if I could lock this down and my family could have me till I'm 100 years old, I could do it. I would take this one.
Yeah, I would guess if you're in the perfect spot, like I'm on the western side of Georgia, so ocean's out of the question for that. I mean, yeah, I got Atlanta as an option within 50 miles, but I'm still pretty much limited. And then you do the circle 50 miles, and I'm like, a lot of my extras is like Alabama, which is like, it doesn't hit the marks for me. So I don't think I could do it. Now, if I'm allowed to say like every decade move my house, and then in that decade do within 50 miles, maybe we can have a conversation.
I thought you were going to say, if I'm allowed to, like before this death angel comes, if you're like allowed to pick your location like that, that's a whole different thing. Like,
if you could pick your location, then we might have a conversation. But for the time being, if you're just saying death comes right in front of me, I won't touch you for 5 decades, but nothing more than 50 miles from here, I'd be like, get me when you get me.
All right. I got 2 more. You can become a centenarian. Okay. You're healthy, but I think I know where you're going to go with this one. But you can never sleep more than 4 hours a night. 100 years old, 4 hours of sleep for the rest of your life every night.
I think I might consider it. I think I might do it. I do enjoy a good night's sleep. I am grumpy if I don't get a good night's sleep. But at the same time, when I was at my most angst situations or whatever, I can say that there would be nights where 4 hours would be an incredible night of sleep. So I think I might just take the deal. And you think about when you're 80s and your 90s and you got to pee half the night, you may be lucky to get 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, then you got to get fingers up your butt all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would also take this one, possibly. The only thing is, though, like, being grumpy for like an extra 30 years or 20 years kind of sucks too. Like, am I always going to feel those non-hours of sleep that I get? Or am I going to turn into like a Mark Wahlberg who like, it's like, I get up at 3:30 and work out and, you know, like every day is like committed to something crazy.
Yeah, some people, it can get to work. And like I said, in those IT days that I had where it was just constant, barely got sleep, 4 hours was just magical. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great number where I can say I will chance it.
All right. Last one, Mike. You'll be perfectly healthy at 100, but you instantly know the ending to every book, movie, game, anything that you would ever watch again. You know the ending forever.
I think I would.
Mhm.
I think I would. And as much as I hate spoilers, I think it boils down to I can make it my personality where I'd just be sitting in a movie theater, somebody's getting like really enchanted in the movie and just peek over and be like, that dude's going to die, by the way.
Oh, you're just going to become the biggest dick ever.
Yeah. And I'm going to be doing it forever.
Yep.
I know they can't kill me because I'm going to live to at least 100. So,
all right. I'm adding another caveat into this. This includes all sporting events, everything. You know the ending to everything.
yeah, because I could bet. And now I'll have infinite money.
So you're like, woo.
Yeah. I'll
I'm
be on
telling you.
DraftKings every single goddamn night. I will be like, how did he get this woman was going to hit 9 3-pointers in that WNBA game over Minnesota? Just knew it.
The Commanders are going to lose. Trust me. He's like, we know you're not a prophet. Oh, God. Well, yeah, all right, Mike. That is, inspired by our friend Alan here. All right, Mike. That's all I got tonight. My butthole is oh, that's the one thing I want to mention before.
Your butthole again?
Yes. The prostate exam was whatever, uncomfortable. But I hate that he took tissues and he like threw them on the thing. It was like, they're there if you need to clean up after yourself.
Damn.
Yeah.
He
very
treats you like a side woman right there. And
I was his side piece. Yep.
Here, clean yourself up, and here's a couple of dollars, and I'll get your sausage, egg, and cheese there, baby.
Here's a couple bucks. Call a cab, But yeah, anyway.
Yes, yeah. Well, always remember, water cleanses the body, truth cleanses the mind, and silence cleanses the soul.
Why are you throwing random inspirational quotes out?
All right. Let's get serious. Ladies and gentlemen, I was playing around like the person who puts up those quotes on Facebook, and every time you're like, what's going on? Nope, I don't want to talk about it. We're going to have a serious moment, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to go fully into all the details of everything that's happening with the situation, but I will come out and announce that I am going through a divorce in my household. As I say, I'm not going to go into the very specifics. I will at least say it was not a ongoing, planned, talked about item. I will leave it at that. Had a lot of soul searching in this world. It was a lot of sadness, a lot of crying, a lot of anger, a lot of numbness, a lot of going around trying to figure out the situation. I don't know how to do comedy on this, but I will at least bring up some funny items I can at least say on the situation of oddities. First off, to my co-host and very good friend Scott, thank you for being there. This was a discussion late at night that he got on the phone with me, and we kind of talked through a few things. And one thing I kind of talked about was, the next day I was supposed to go to a Golden Girls drag show with said wife.
Mm-hmm.
And there was still a part of me trying to commit to the comedy in the bit to say, wouldn't it be hilarious of a guy crying at a drag show because he has a situation, he's going to go through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was legitimate thought process of it. Can I get through this and can I do it and tell Scott, Betty White was an amazing woman, but the dude who plays Sophia was an asshole when I was crying over the cheesecake or something to that effect.
Yep.
So there was that. And it kind of messed up a lot of stuff. I couldn't figure out a lot of dates in the coming days. So as I said, didn't go to the Golden Girls show. I had musical tickets to see it's a 9/11 musical called Come From Away that I had the following weekend.
There's a 9/11 musical?
The musical is based on this. So when 9/11 happened, when flights were in the air, all flights had to find the closest airport and park. So there was a flight going from America to somewhere else in America. They had to park immediately because all airways are shut down. They had to park in Canada. Now, all these people don't have their passports. They didn't go through all the certain stuff, so they couldn't really go anywhere for the 2 weeks that pretty much everything was shut down. And it's a whole story of how the community is trying to help them because some of these people don't have more than a day's worth of clothes. Some people don't have anything. Some of them are panicking because maybe they had somebody in New York and it's impossible to call them. They made a whole story and musical about it. I heard about it a while ago. It sounded great. I talked to the missus about let's schedule it, and it was for March 29th. So needless to say, said divorce conversations occurred beforehand. I totally lost all capabilities of where I was date-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So as my brother wanted to have lunch with me to kind of talk over things, I look at my phone and it's like, hey, the 9/11 musical starts in 2 hours. And there's a depression of, it's called Come From Away. You can look it up. It's not the 9/11 musical.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way for you to understand I was going to see a 9/11 musical.
Yeah. So you sold me completely on the story.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that is an interesting story. But in my head, I was like, how did they make this a musical? maybe that genre.
Half the entertainment of this. I'm like, the tower's down. Go on. La.
At least there's a story it's focused on. Because when you said 9/11 musical, I was hoping it wasn't the towers, they're falling down upon us. The towers, they're falling down with rust. The towers, Okay. Sorry.
Now I think you got to make your 9/11 musical because that was pretty good. I got to be honest with you. We all dreams in this world, so. I thank Scott. A very big shout out to my parents who I had to stay down there a couple of nights to get my head straight because of other reasons or whatever. I thank my dad who listens to the show very much. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. My dad's birthday's coming up, so you are not missing out on a card this year.
Get ready getting ready for some spoiled meat, baby.
I'm not getting spoiled meat like that Father's Day fiasco. Again, thank you, Mom, for talking to me and making me meals. I will still point out, Mom, get those scary dolls out of your rooms because I am sleeping on the couch and they are quite disturbing. Scott, I will not share with the audience, but I will want to share with you some of the dolls.
I got insider info
in my mom's house. So let me just send them over to you. And let me know when you get them.
I just received. Oh God. Oh boy.
Yeah, scroll, and there's always
I'm only on the. Oh
yeah,
my. Oh, the pictures are horrifying too.
yes.
Oh, there's a there's a singing girl, a choir
Uh-huh.
girl with no eyes.
Yes. Yes. And there's like scary kids pictures from like the 30s that when you fall asleep, they come out of the frames and eat you.
Oh my God, there's a giant mannequin in the back.
Yes. So, Mom, I absolutely love
did it
you,
have
but we
big
got to do
boobies?
something about these dolls
What was
because
the chest size on that mannequin?
you could do CPR on them. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
think that
horrifying.
qualify. Yeah. So I love you to death, but for the love of God, please get rid of some of these scary dolls and all, because I have to sleep on the couch and I have my two dogs with me, and the dogs don't understand the situation, so they both try to take the couch. Where I try to explain to them now, Daddy has no room, and then Daddy's had a few excursions with the spasms coming back.
Oh,
And
no.
so
Get
that is
the
a
bike
wonderful
ready.
combination of depression, anger, and spasms occurring at once.
Ma, you got to remove these dolls and keep your bra drawer open.
Don't let the dog grab your bras, Mom. I can't pick him up this time. That's Dad's job right now.
A back starting to hurt. Hide those bras, Mom.
Dad, can you pick this up? Boy, you just gave me some of the most disgusting chicken I've ever tasted in my life. No way I'm going to pick them up.
Yeah, you get on that bike and head to the store real quick. Oh, God.
So these are the things I'm dealing with. I'm also going to shout out my friend Michael Tufano, who has gone through some of this and talked me through it. Erica Weiss, who I've had multiple hour-long conversations on it. So many friends. I definitely need to point out is Kelly Warner, who was Joseph on our Thanksgiving game, and his lovely fiance Abigail Dawkins. She went out of her way to send a message to me. Number one, thanking me for the show, which is the first time in 12 years anybody has ever said that.
Take some lessons, Dom and Harry.
Yes. Yeah. But I can honestly say one of the small things I could say about this situation is, and again, this is not Pumpkin Pancake Mike. This is not the Burls Mike. This isn't. We're doing this on April 2nd. It's not an April Fool's joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is nothing character-wise. I can say deeply, I'm a human being. Where you say, yeah, let me know, I want to be there for you, or hey, thanks, I love you, or hey, I listened to your show. I am a person that goes in one ear and out the other because a lot of things have happened. That's when you just found out. And I just naturally assume, yep. You have to say this, that I'm in your face. You probably don't mean it. And there were a lot of people that are not listed here have gone out of the woodworks to contact me and make sure I'm good. I also shout out to my brother and my sister for contacting me. Still going through stuff. A couple things together. I feel when everything is put to paper and my brain's in a better spot, I can go into a little more details. I can say Scott has heard the details. It is an entertaining story, but I'm not going to release anything for the time being. Also, again, as much as I joke about my dogs, thank God they're there, because certain times when it's been quiet, it's been good to look at them and know that they're there and they're happy to see me and they want to sleep by me. I think I'm going to cut off now because I'm getting a little there. So
yeah, well,
back to you.
Yeah, back to me.
Oh, and a bowl is most useful when it is empty.
Oh, Thank you. Way to wrap that up there.
Yeah.
But
You got too many full bowls. That's the problem.
Yeah, so I won't say too much on it either. I've been talking to Mike just about every day. It actually, when he called me, it was actually right after we were recording an interview.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, where I really appreciate it, because it was, I think I contacted you at like 11 something. We did we technically did banter for 2 shows.
Mm-hmm.
And like at 11 something, I'm like, any chance you're available to talk?
Yeah. I think that was that the same night we talked to the wacko from the one radio station that we might be on?
Yep.
So, yeah. So it was a late night. Yeah. We'll talk about that at a different time. But all I can say, we've we've been here before. In a way, together. We've been here before. I don't even know if I've ever told the full stories of my divorce. I know I've told some stuff, but
yeah, probably a couple years after your divorce, you kind of said a couple things here and there.
Yeah,
probably not every single.
Yeah, I mean, I got stories that would blow people's minds, and I'd be open to sharing some of them. My thing is like a story of tragedy more, and I was put through a lot, and no loyalty, all that stuff, but we can get into that. But the point I was trying to make is we've been here before. We have seen a lot of different things happen to one another, and I mean, we'll get through this one too. I think what I can commend you on is something I didn't do. You're acting swiftly. You're being like open about it, and actually talking to your friends. And what I did was like just block everybody out and kind of like handle this on my own and convince myself that maybe somehow this would fix itself and whatever. And like never talking to like my good friends, never talking to my parents, and this whole support system that I had right there, just ignoring it. So what you're doing in that aspect is great, because there is no embarrassment, especially when you don't do anything wrong. Like, everybody does things wrong in a relationship as far as arguing and things like that. But as long as you could say to yourself, I was a good husband, I did this, I did that. That's what I said to myself. Like, I never did what she did, my ex. And then you're like, well, then it wasn't meant to be, man. Screw it. Like, why am I going to waste more? If this was like a thought in her head, or this was something that could have happened at any point, then maybe now's the best time than ever, because I don't want to do this 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's might as well do it and start to move on.
Yeah. I was probably going to read an inspirational quote, but I'm like, yeah.
No, but I've been through it. It sucks, and you're smart to call the people that care about you. So, and there is this weird. That's what I wanted to say real quick before we go. There is this weird thing. I don't know there's probably a term for this, but like when someone dies, right? When someone dies and you go to that funeral or wake, there's this sadness, but there's also this like unexplainable like excitement to like see people that you haven't seen in a long time. And there's this like, like I always found myself at wakes and stuff like that, being in the back, like talking to whatever, my cousins or my friends or who it was, and starting to slowly crack jokes and starting to make light of it. And whatnot, more of like the quote unquote Irish wake, like where it's more talking and chatting instead of, but there is this weird feeling of like these events that you get to see, like people who care about you. Like if someone shows up to your family's awake, or I don't know. There's different scenarios in life where you're like, wow, all these people care about me. And it is like slightly refreshing, even though you're going through like hell at the same time. So
yeah, I can kind of see that as crazy as it sounds. As I was like going through like cleaning out certain things or whatever, I would probably say the last really emotional kind of event I had was when I lost my job over in Jersey. And the crazy thing was, as I was going through this, so I'm not sure if I talked about on the show. So my former boss, who one time was my best friend, I got let go from the job, and I don't blame him directly, but we weren't on good terms for quite a long time, and I was not a cordial with him and all. So the second I got let go from work, I blocked all the numbers of people I did not want to hear from. And I found out that like he attempted to call me the day of, and he left a message on there. And every once in a while, I can't explain emotionally why or whatever, I would listen to the voicemail to either get angry or feel something right there. After what happened here, I was able to finally delete that voicemail, which is something I never thought I would do. So
yeah, it's like it's like grieving over things, man. It takes time, and like it randomly will pop up a million times from year on out. Randomly pops up for me, even though I'm in a place I never imagined I would be. Like after that happened, it was like impossible to see through the forest or whatever you want to, see the, what is it? What's the expression again?
Can't see the forest through the trees.
Through the trees, yeah. So, but like slowly you start to get out of it and out of it and out of it. You start to see different things, and you start to make moves that make sense for yourself. So, yeah, that's all I can really say on that. We'll get, into more about it different times. We could do a whole divorce episode where we really dive into similarities and differences between. But, buddy, good to have you back here on the show. It didn't limit your stupidity or absurdity, so I appreciate that. Mike, anything to promote before we get on out of here?
I'm gonna promote a brewery we might be doing some work with, Camp Brewing Company in Fayetteville, Georgia. Another glimmer of light as I visited them when I was going through all this, and they are interested in doing podcasts with us, but they are in Fayetteville, Georgia. They moved up from Hampton, Georgia, down where the NASCAR track is, but they have a full restaurant. They have a full bar scene. If you're not into beers, they have a cocktail bar. They have plenty of different options for you to go there. They have a full menu. I wish I didn't eat prior to going there because it looked awesome, and I'm definitely going to check it out, and I'm going to do my best so we do an episode from Camp Brewing Company in Fayetteville, Georgia.
And I will promote I'll promote a listener who actually was responsible for hooking us up with Alan here. He actually helped Alan with the production of his book. Okay, his book that came out or is coming out here. So his name is Dave Smitherman. He is a author and a publisher, and he also helps people get books off the ground. And he was the one who helped our 100-year-old friend Alan be able to come on the show and also write a book. So go check out Alan's book and go check out Dave. That's it, guys. Keep subscribing, keep listening. We have so many guests in the chamber here, so we got a lot of episodes coming out. Other than that, guys, life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
Hey, you always have a shell in your pocket and sand in your shoes.
And big-titted mannequins.
Well, duh.